Hi, welcome. It's part 11. Why aren't we going quick these days? Anyway, the updates will start coming at us pretty fast. And this update is brought to you by John Singer at clubsportracing.com. Club Sport Racing, of course, is in the business of preparing and racing vintage race cars, and they work on current racing Porsches also. But John, who is the photojournalist and the computer geek at Club Sport, comes up with this hat, this Pennzoil IndyCar hat from a promo we got from the old Auto Week or Competition Press when it was actually a paper magazine. And this was a Pennzoil promo for the Pennzoil, probably the first ground effects car that Rutherford drove for Chaparral. So John, cool hat, dude. I'll wear it proudly. I can't say I've wore a race car hat before. But anyway, what we're doing now in part 11 is that we're making this seal edge, which was all broken up through time, and the doors closes, and they're pretty wafer thin anyway. But you can see I've already done the laying up process with this, and it begins by taping underneath what was existing as the edge, so the edge can become a little wider because it gets all shortened and cracked up. And basically I make that edge with one frayed mat, and it's frayed because it won't make this 90-degree angle if it's not frayed. It will come back at you. So if you fray it, it bends real nice. So all you guys out there doing your home jobs and any kind of fiberglass work, if you have a dead 90, fray it up like that. Then on top of that, we come down with another 3/4 ounce mat, and we chase that with one unidirectional German cloth or S-weave or twill, whatever you want to call it, 3 ounce material, and that makes up this edge. Now, I do this because when I take this nose off, if this wasn't done, it'll all break apart because it's cracked and broken and ground down and from accidents and whatnot. So we have to do this all around here to make this thing strong again. Now, of course, I'll grind all this off when it comes off, and it won't look like I did anything, but it will look like the edge is at least consistent 19 millimeter or so wide. Now I'll go ahead and show you the process. Let me step out of the scene here, and I'll get a roll of tape. And what you do is you just get the masking tape, and this just makes a little strength, because even here, look, this part is broken. Because when I was taking the windshield out, that stainless wire, that safety wire I use, gets hooked up, and it just cut it because it's wafer thin anyway. So the tape pretty much strengthens it up underneath, and it makes it to where the Doorsill doesn't ooze through and drop inside the car, which you see it would make a big deal now, but it will later. So the tape basically gives that lip the strength all the way around. As soon as I'm done taping off this surround, I'll go ahead and do the layup on here so you can see how that step is done. Again, we're doing this. Some of you guys like to have the information on how it's done, and some of you guys don't really care. But we'll at least show how it's done and enjoy it or don't. Anyway, I'll see you in just a few minutes. Okay, now that we've got this taped off all the way around, I'll go ahead, and I've already mixed up some Doorsill, which is a polyester slurry, which is Doorsill materials like metallic, and then milled fiber gives it the strength, and then regular resin. I have a trusty cardboard, walk behind the camera here, piece that I use for the layup, and you can see what I do here. I'll do it on the dashboard so you can see it. I'll cover up my little sticker so we don't hurt it. And the first thing is the consistency of the Doorsill makes it brushable. So we brush that in, and we get enough on the edge right here just to make sure that there's a good bite. You can see where there's no material at all. This makes up the void where there's no material, especially in this piece that was broken. That'll go in the crack, and it makes it, it's like cement basically. It just gives it a healthier, slurrier base to put the cloth in. So I brush this around real good. Wherever there's a void or a hole, this fills up the hole. I'll do this one side real quick because the time is wasting on didn't explain is when the cars come new, or when this mold or nose comes out of the mold, it's this complete part. So you think of this seam here, well, that's not how they make the car. They make the car with the roof attached to the front fenders. That's how you know if there's a seam, it's not original. So now remember I said we use the frayed material. We do that so it bends over that abrupt angle, because if it was solid, it wouldn't bend enough, and then you'd have a giant air pocket and bubbles and whatnot. So we just wet this up a little, and we put the frayed end up like that, and we let it hang over because we want it as big as we can. We'll always grind it down to about 19 millimeter, and then when the seal goes on, we cut it to the exact width of the seal. So basically, I put these matte materials down like this. It gets a little messy. Anyone trying this for the first time, believe it or not, I make it look easy. Now we go down with, as I said, one more solid mat. This is 3/4 ounce. We wet that up. We put it right into the corner of the groove, and it kind of connects with that canvas seal. I'm trying to speed up so we have time for the YouTube. Now I've got the cloth, and then the cloth goes into the groove up to the top. That way it gets the strength, so you got to make sure you get it on the finger. My photographer is telling me there must have been a technical problem, so you know how we are at this YouTube thing. We do the best we can, and the rest is like, we don't really care. You're getting to see what no one else gets to. So now I'll do this all the way around. So when I'm done, then we'll come back and we'll sign off on this deal. That's basically what I'll do now, all the way around the window. See, and here I am, just putting the finishing touches on. You can see I went all the way around, as I already did on all the others. So now I'll put my cup up, take my gloves off. Now you can come over here and see that I've used a piece of 3/4 inch masking tape, or for you European dudes, this is 19 millimeter masking tape. And then I'll go ahead and I'll file this edge flat where all those little, what we call Furbies are. You can see that. Smooth this out now. This is 36 grit paper. It doesn't take a lot to get it smoothed out. And I can use power tools, except it really gets dusty. Then I use the same thing. Rather than using a saw, you can see, bring the camera around here, Mrs. Photographer, and you can see it doesn't take me much. I'll use that tape as a guide to sand this thing right to that edge of the sandpaper. It makes it just, the edge of the masking tape I mean, it makes it just a little wider than what the seal requires. Now, when I'm done doing all this tape all the way around, we'll take this thing off the car. So basically, you just saw me strengthen this thing enough now that it's good and structurally fit for me to cut all the seams at the doors, at the front under tray, the bottom, whatnot, and then the whole thing will come off in one, and then I'll store it. So until next time, I know you've been getting these videos pretty quick, but we'll try not to do that so much, because then you want them all the time. Anyway, for John Singer at Club Sport Racing, Phil Bagley and Bruce Ellsworth, thank you for the hat, and keep watching YouTube.